Hey everybody, Professor Snark with a quick little video check-in here as we continue through our 8-week course. So here I am in our due dates. It's Monday when I'm recording this, so we've just finished up Unit 2 last Friday, and we're looking at Wednesday, September 2nd as our next unit due date. Remember that the turnaround it seems a little quicker from like Unit 3 to 4, again trying to avoid too much stuff being kind of like work being done on the weekend if we can avoid it a little bit. All right, so Unit 3 is one of those units where we encounter our first, I wouldn't call it a major writing assignment, but it's a more formal writing assignment. But it also introduces us to one of the core concepts for our class, which is this idea of the shape of an essay or a paragraph, and also introduces us to Mla citation. So there's pretty good, I think, information here in Unit 3 on this notion of how an essay works. There's a video you can watch, kind of that same information in more static form, some examples, so lots and lots of material. Relatively speaking, I mean, you know, it's not tons of reading you've got to do, but one of the most core kind of components of our course. So this is one of those things that when we do our first essay or when we do this paragraph assignment for Unit 3, this is like fundamentally what I'm looking for. Has the student covered the content, understood it enough conceptually to now apply it in a practical writing situation? And it's pretty easy for me to see. I mean, it's not really magical. There's no mystery to it. I'm looking for the application of these basic ideas here. Then there's the piece on Mla citation. Again, I won't go through that again in this video form, but just sort of point you to it. And I will, you know, something I'll reiterate throughout our course is that English 1102 is often called the research course. So things pertaining to research, whether it's using databases and finding research sources effectively, integrating those effectively, like it's covered here a little bit, or the focus here really on citing correctly in text and then building a works cited page. That's like really, really key to being successful in 1102. In other words, if you're writing a final essay that still has significant MLA problems, you're not formatting a works cited properly, you're not introducing and integrating quotations effectively, it's going to have a really, really significant impact on your grade. Not that I think Mla citation and its various intricacies are like key to life as we know it, but within the context of our 1102 class, it's just one of those things that you have to demonstrate that you can do correctly to move beyond it, which is sort of a glass half empty, it may seem, but actually, since it's so cut and dry, it's kind of a glass half full. It's just a matter of following the examples, and there's tons in our course, like if you see the Mla citation. So you're not guessing about like, how do I cite something from our story? You're just following the example. How do I cite something from a database? Again, you're just following the example. So you can, it's sort of like worth a lot of points, relatively speaking, but that should be hopefully good news because you're not guessing about, am I doing this right? Am I going to get those points? If you're paying attention to following the examples, then yeah, you should be doing it right. So as we move a little deeper into the course then, I start to look for, is your writing reflecting these things that I've covered? If yes, great, you get the points. If not, that's when you start losing points for, in some cases, pretty simple or straightforward kinds of things. The assignment itself that we have here, though, is again fairly formal relative to what we've done before, but it's not overly long. In fact, it's designed to be kind of a formulaic, like a sample body paragraph that might show up in an essay of the type that we'll be writing. So there's lots of detail about kind of like how to form it, what the pieces are, things that I'm looking for, and all that kind of stuff. So there's like a lot of lead-in you'll see to a fairly short writing assignment, analyzing one aspect of the main character William from the short story that we're reading for this unit called Flight Patterns. He's a pretty, you know, dynamic guy, so there's lots of things that you can say. Could you say just anything about him because it's your opinion? Not really, but there are lots of things that are sort of the correct answer. If you can find examples or quotation from the text to prove the point that you're making, then your claim is valid. So this is where people get a little fuzzy with literature. It's like, oh, it's my opinion, it's subjective, I can just sort of say anything. No, it's not that. But there's also not just one correct answer about what William the character really is, and everything else is either wrong or a misreading or something like that. So one person could say that he's a very happy guy, and someone else could say that he's a very anxious or nervous or unhappy guy. And I think you could probably find evidence for both of those things in the story. So notice how you can have sort of two seemingly contradictory things, but them actually both be provable, based on what's in the story itself. Okay, you'll notice that this discussion board is set up. You may see just nothing there. It doesn't mean you're the first one posting. It means that you won't see other posts until you've completed your own first post. So keep that in mind if it looks like, there's just nothing there, or you might have stumbled into the wrong spot. It's just set up that way. And then as usual, we have that response component. So again, be sure that you're really, especially now that we're doing something with a little more meat to the bone, you're really responding at length. You're kind of quoting from the original post, maybe extending the idea, providing a new example, providing maybe a counter example if you're not totally in agreement. Although we want to remain sort of positive here. I mean, that's sort of the point. And certainly comment on it, if someone points to an aspect of this character that you really hadn't noticed before and does so in a convincing way, like the quotations or the details from the text or ones that really sort of convince you. Okay, so not an overly long writing assignment, but one that is a little more formal than what we've done and is absolutely testing one of the core concepts for the class, which is this sort of shape of the paragraph, shape of an essay idea. Okay, so due on Wednesday. If you have any questions, be sure to be in touch with me, and I will talk with everybody soon.